Capricorn, hello, welcome to your love reading. Let's see what we got for you. I'm going to draw 3 cards for you, 3 oracle cards, and then I'm going to clarify it for you. I'm going to end off for you with that one sticking out, which is, oh, that is the same card that we had for Virgo, right? That's interesting. So maybe you've got strong Virgo in your chart, or you may be cross-watching for Virgo. There could be a message here for you. All right, let's get you a Moonology card. So that's from the, for those of you that want to know, from the Oracle of the 7 Energies. There's 2 cards that came out for you, Capricorn, for the Moonology cards. And then let's see what the angels have got to say for you. Radio. Welcome to the channel. Such a pleasure to have you. I'm Adrian, for those of you that don't know me, holistic wellness practitioner, intuitive healer, spiritual regression hypnosis practitioner, and for those of you always supporting me that's coming back, welcome back. My heart is open to you. Okay. Alrighty. Ooh. Things are on fire. Alright, so this is the card that we got for Virgo as well, Capricorn. And I feel that for you, it's got a slightly different message. So if you want to see the Virgo one, you can look at the Virgo reading. But for you, I feel that for many of you, you had a hunch, you had an intuition, you know. It's almost like looking into a mirror and realizing that you were right, okay? That you were right about a situation that, you know, that is taking place or is taking place at the moment. And it sort of changes things in a whole new direction, you know. But clarity, or actually, you know, for me always with clarity comes a lot of hope. Because once you've got clarity, once you've got honesty, once you know what's actually happening, you know, you can sort of, you've got more facts, you know, so you can build things in a different sort of way. Now, the cards that I have for you, I've got 2 cards coming out for you in Moonology, and we're going to clarify this using the OSHO Zen Tarot deck. But let's first look at the cards that we have. So at the bottom, and this just sort of focuses on the energy. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. This is the one that came out in the bottom. So this is almost like what's supporting everything that's happening at the moment. You know, what is sort of like the breath, kind of like behind the breath, or like the strength within the breath. And I feel for some of you, you know, it's almost like there was a sense of, you know, some kind of like, almost like something being divided. Not maybe quite sure where you stood with someone, or them, you know, maybe not being quite sure where they stood with you. But I feel this is more you not being quite sure where you kind of stood with someone. And it's one of those situations where one is not always 100% certain how to approach the situation. You know, you don't sort of want to seem psycho. And then certain times, you know, we just kind of hold back because we don't want to be the one that just sort of like goes in there and then, you know, be accused of being crazy. And then on top of it, it says, bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius. So, sorry, some of you may have been with someone, may have been in a connection, and that wasn't really the divine perfect connection for you, all right? When I say that, what I really mean is that there were some lessons to be learned over there, you know? And then we've got bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius. And this is about, you know, sort of being in the flow of what's currently happening, you know, what is the current magic that is taking place. Because remember, we're also going to that new moon in Aquarius phase at the moment. So this is letting you know that, you know, maybe certain things didn't work out before, but in a sense, and this is a bit hard to hear sometimes, but that was also divinely meant to be that way, as this is supposed to be divinely the way that it is right now. All right. And then it says within the next few weeks, your angel answers card. This is about a wish coming true. This is about a dream coming true. And remember, we are speaking about love. So, I don't know, it's almost like somebody's coming home to you, if that makes sense to you all. It's like somebody's coming home to you, but there's some sort of divine intervention that's taking place over here. Something that maybe might have taken longer. It could also be having something to do with like some study or some course or something like that. But something that might have taken longer is now somehow taking faster, you know? So maybe you've got like a delivery from overseas or something like that. And one way or the other, things are happening faster than you actually would have, you know, imagined it happening. Let's clarify. Let's see what we got. So we're looking at this, ears wide open. This card is sticking right out. I wonder what's coming to my door. I'm so curious. So let's see. So yeah, so some of you were, you know, there was a little bit of a, how do I put this? It's almost like there was a little bit of a run, like a wild run maybe taking place. And you had to slow down, you know, you had to sort of see things for what they actually were. And I feel for many of you, and this was very, very tough, but I feel that for many of you, you're really getting this now, that you may have thought that that was the right person for you, and you may have set your heart on that person, and you know there might have been a little bit of sort of things going, you know, a little bit south, not the way that you expected them to go. But I feel also that some of you are realizing now, you know, if there has been the situation where, you know, somebody left you to be with somebody else, or they just sort of left you and they suddenly went to the other person. Now, I've got two things over here. First of all, for those of you that were left, you know, you're realizing that it's the divine, you know, way that it should have been. For some of you that sort of had that sort of unclarity at the moment, you weren't sure, you know, and you assumed that you were left for somebody else. You're actually beginning to see that it's not the case. They just sort of had that strong sort of connection. But I do feel that for those of you that is in the second scenario, though, that there was something very, very important that this person needed from you. There we go. All right. So what we have is slowing down. So this was you that I remember was saying, look into that mirror. That you sort of realize that, you know, and I don't want to upset you all, but it's almost like you kind of like overreacted to the situation just a little bit, okay. But also obviously when we, you know, when we operate from our emotions, it is challenging because it's very personal. It is our hearts, you know. But there is the realization there. There is also, I feel that for some of you, it's almost like a choice had to be made, and somebody kind of went, you know, they chose somebody else. And you sort of realize, and it's interesting when these things happen in life, where you actually sort of realize that, you know, that they were actually the better option. Like, as in, it actually better that this situation that might have once broken your heart actually didn't work out. Okay, and then underneath we've got we are the world. So this is the end of a cycle. This is a very hurtful cycle, actually, very painful cycle that came to an end over there, with you realizing what the actual lesson was in the situation. And if you haven't fully grasped it yet and there is still some pain, it's absolutely normal. But that's also where you are being encouraged to, you know, to flow with what's actually happening at the moment, because it's a really magical flow for you happening at the moment. Now let's look at this new moon in Gemini. Different things available. The Fool came out on top. And the Fool's obviously about new beginnings, all right? So some of you, you know, you really gave your heart, you really gave your everything. And I feel that also for some of you, there's some sort of sacrifice that was made here, you know, for love. And you obviously made it based on the understanding that this was the best option for you, this was the best choice for you, this was the best person for you, you know? And now you're like, okay, so what's going on, you know? Ooh, okay. So I'm gonna have to clarify that. But so the Fool, new beginnings. So some of you, you know, you really started a new journey with someone. You know what I actually feel? I feel that for some of you, you started something with someone. You may not even have been all that much in love with them in the beginning. You know, almost like for lack of a better plan, but there was some traveling involved. You might not have thought things might get as seriously as they do, but then they did. Because the Lovers is also the Gemini card, you know, so you know, there's also a sense, there's also a feeling here that somebody sort of got serious. And so it's almost like, you know, when a situation is not supposed to be all that serious, but then, you know, you obviously develop stronger feelings for the other person. And now you're not really sure how to deal with the situation because, you know, are things actually supposed to be as serious as they are at the moment? And, you know, so this is you sort of feeling like, I don't know, I've got these very strong feelings, but am I even allowed to feel this way? Bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius. Okay. So for a lot of you, you're really worrying. You're very stressful. You know, you're very concerned. Am I allowed to even feel this way? Is it alright to do this? Is it alright to, you know, to sort of like, you know, hold on, to let go? Is it okay for me to have this sort of emotions, these strong emotions? Is it even allowed, you know, to be having these emotions? And you are being called to sort of come into the present, because I feel for many of you, you're sort of all over the place, but you're not in the present. All right, and it's obviously in the present where things are. You're reminded that this is a magical time happening at the moment. Okay, this card came out in reverse. Some of you are, you know, you're really putting a lot of thought in the situation, and you're sort of driving yourself just a little bit insane here. Okay, cool. All right. So, let me just put it like this. There we go. So, this was in reverse. There's a very stressful, hyperactive, sort of panicky energy going on here. All right, and there's no need for that anymore. All right, so you are being asked to let go of that, and then I've got both these cards. Now you will see that this is also number 10, even though it's in reverse. So you are also asked to accept that a certain cycle has come to an end in life, to learn from, you know, what was, you know, what you needed to learn in there, the lesson that was available in there. And it's when you learn or accept the lesson, and you embrace the lesson, and you release and you let go and you move forward, that is when that inner shine really comes out. Because whatever broke your heart so badly, there is such a powerful lesson in there. And something to remember is always that, you know, in order for us to move forward, because as human beings we can be so stubborn sometimes and we hold on to things, you know, it's when we you know, when we sometimes in that dire sort of pain and panic and those kind of things, that we also reach higher, because we realize our true value and our true worth and our heart's true desires, especially when it comes to love. And there has to be someone that sort of, you know, divinely contributes to those feelings, to those emotions, to that situation, to those circumstances. And it's, you know, if you haven't done so yet, it's time to pause and to really say, what is the lesson? Because it's when you get the lesson, it's when you can see how this particular situation, you know, took you forward, how it helped you to grow. You know, the things that you could make it through that you never thought in life that you might be able to make it through, how you could go strong to that. That is how you sort of begin to flow, you know, sort of like with this melody of life again. And that is how, when you look at this card, when you can become silent in the moment, you know, it's almost like Lao Tzu was, you know, you may know about the Tao Te Ching, which is about becoming present. And the Tao speaks about, you know, not sort of going to the extremes of a situation. You know, so if you take a pendulum, it doesn't swing like all the way wild to the sides, but it's just about sort of like being there in the middle, you know, in the eye of the storm, seeing everything happening around you and accepting that that there's beauty for you in every situation. Then the scary situations, the thoughts, the emotions, the things that would usually break you, those things cannot actually touch you because you are in peace. And as you are in peace, and as you are in flow, that is where the magic of life can come through. That is where you connect with the divine. That is where your heart opens. And that is where you become that magnet, that whatever you want to have in life comes to you and you don't have to go to it. And that is the divine magical flow that's available to you right now. Okay? Follow. Now, for the next 2 weeks, there's a card that came in reverse. The mind. Some of you are stressing, you are worrying, you are thinking, you are panicking, you are fearing, you are like, oh, you know, you're breaking out of the isolation. You're coming, it's almost like, you know, if you almost want to imagine one of those very sci-fi sort of movies where you're kind of been frozen, you know, in ice for, I don't know, 3,500 years, but you don't really know about the passing of time, and now the ice is starting to like crack out and you come out, you know, and you're like, blah, 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 you know, speaking in like ancient sort of language. Not that I would know if that's how ancient languages spoke, but, you know, and you're moving into a new phase, and it says within the next few weeks. So, and look at this, new clean slate for everything, nothingness. Okay, that is normally the Hierophant card in traditional tarot. So very good things available for you here. You know, letting go of that past situation, getting through the pain, aligning with the current moment, finding the peace within, finding the lesson, doing the forgiveness, doing the letting go, and in the next couple of weeks, things can be completely different for you. All right. And if it resonates with you, more than welcome to like, share, comment, and subscribe, Capricorn. And if you are interested in who's making my beautiful thumbnails for me, my wonderful friend, graphic design and social media manager, does them for me. There's a link down in the description as well. It says AC Digital Marketing Solutions. Just take a click on it and you can contact her directly. And this card came on the side. It says, you might not know now, but you will. Doesn't that beautifully go in with everything that we had? Everything coming to you? Okay, it said it in within the next few weeks. You might not know now, but you will. And then let's just see for you what's at the back. It says, think of someone very, very special to you. Now feel yourself bursting with love for them. Now mentally shower, drench, and soak them in that love. All right? Even if they hurt you. All right? Now, mentally shower, drench, and soak yourself in my love, the universe. Now feel it always. Wow. How nice is that? See you next time.